Maybe there's something I didn't think was necessary to tell you.
Pernell Roberts became famous around the world for playing Adam Cartwright on the hit television series Bonanza. But behind the calm and intelligent character viewers loved, there was a man who often struggled with the people and systems around him, and many fans never realized how much conflict existed behind the scenes of the show that made him a star. Roberts was born in Georgia in 1928, growing up during the difficult years of the Great Depression, and from a young age he felt different from many boys around him because he preferred music, reading, and performance instead of sports or rough play. His mother encouraged his creative side, and he often performed music at church events, which slowly built his confidence in front of audiences. After finishing high school, Roberts first tried studying engineering because it seemed like a practical career, but he quickly discovered he was unhappy. And when he later joined the United States Marine Corps, he found himself returning to music by playing in the Marine Corps band. After leaving the military, Roberts decided to fully follow his passion and study acting, eventually moving to New York City, where many hopeful actors went to build careers. Life was not easy at first, and he worked small jobs while studying acting and performing in theater productions. But his strong voice and serious acting style soon attracted attention. By the late 1950s, he began appearing in films and television shows, slowly building a name for himself. Everything changed in 1959 when he was cast in Bonanza as Adam Cartwright, the oldest and most thoughtful son in the Cartwright family. The show became an instant success, watched by millions every week, and Roberts quickly became a household name. However, while viewers saw success and fame, Roberts began feeling uncomfortable with the direction of the show. He believed television should tell meaningful stories and challenge audiences, but he felt Bonanza often played it safe, avoiding deeper social issues and repeating simple storylines. While other actors were happy with the success and large paychecks, Roberts often argued with writers and producers about improving scripts and giving characters more depth. These disagreements slowly created tension on set. Roberts also disliked how Hollywood avoided difficult conversations about racism and social injustice, and he openly spoke about issues many celebrities preferred to ignore. This made him respected by some people, but also labeled him as difficult by others. Over time, the conflicts on Bonanza grew stronger, especially as certain actors gained more control behind the scenes. Roberts felt that the show increasingly focused on popularity rather than storytelling quality, and he became frustrated watching what he believed was artistic potential being wasted. While audiences loved the show's family-friendly tone, Roberts worried that he was becoming trapped in a role that no longer represented the kind of actor he wanted to be. The situation became even harder because he genuinely liked some of his co-stars at first, and the friendships they shared during early seasons slowly turned into distant professional relationships as disagreements continued. By the mid-1960s, Roberts felt emotionally exhausted from constantly fighting creative battles, and he began considering a decision almost unheard of in Hollywood, leaving one of the most successful shows on television at the peak of its popularity. Many friends warned him that quitting Bonanza would destroy his career, but Roberts believed staying would slowly destroy his happiness instead. The stage was now set for the conflicts that would define his relationship with several actors, including the one person he would ultimately clash with the most, a conflict that would help push him toward the bold decision to walk away from fame in search of personal and artistic freedom. As Bonanza continued to grow in popularity, tensions behind the scenes became harder to hide, and the friendly atmosphere that once existed among the actors slowly faded as creative disagreements turned into personal conflicts, especially between Roberts and several members of the cast. One of the earliest tensions developed with Michael Landon, who played Little Joe Cartwright, and quickly became the show's most popular character. Landon was charming, talented, and eventually began writing and directing episodes, gaining more influence over the series. Roberts began to feel that Landon's growing control led to stories that focused too much on his own character, while others were pushed aside. According to crew members who later spoke about those years, Roberts confronted Landon during production, accusing him of turning the show into a personal spotlight rather than telling balanced stories. After this confrontation, the friendly relationship between the two actors cooled, and conversations between them became mostly professional. Roberts also experienced disappointment in his friendship with Dan Blocker, who played Hoss Cartwright. Early in the show, Roberts and Blocker shared a mutual respect as serious actors, but when Roberts frequently challenged producers over scripts and social issues, Blocker chose to remain neutral, trying to keep peace on set. Roberts, however, felt hurt, believing that friends should support each other in difficult situations. Their friendship slowly faded as Roberts became more isolated. Another public conflict occurred years later between Roberts and Chuck Connors, star of The Rifleman, when they met at an event celebrating Western television. Reports from people present claimed Roberts criticized Connors for behaving arrogantly toward crew members, leading to a sharp exchange of words that left both men with little respect for each other afterward. However, perhaps the most important and emotionally difficult conflict for Roberts involved Lorne Greene, who played Ben Cartwright, the father of the family on the show. On screen, Greene and Roberts appeared to share a warm father-son bond, but off-camera, their relationship was strained. Greene was comfortable with the show's traditional style and believed it gave audiences comfort and escape, while Roberts wanted stories to explore real social struggles. Roberts reportedly felt Greene supported the network's safe storytelling rather than pushing for growth or realism. By 1965, Roberts finally decided he could no longer continue, and he left Bonanza after 6 seasons, shocking fans and executives alike. Many people believed his career would collapse without the show, but Roberts felt relief, choosing personal peace over continued fame. He returned to theater work and later rebuilt his television career with the successful medical drama Trapper John, M.D., proving he could succeed outside the shadow of Bonanza. Still, interviews over the years suggested that the emotional toll of those conflicts stayed with him. Roberts never fully enjoyed Hollywood's fame culture and preferred living quietly rather than attending fan conventions or reliving past success. The conflicts on Bonanza showed the difficult balance between popularity and personal values, and Roberts' willingness to walk away made him both admired and misunderstood. Yet, among all the tensions he faced, many observers believe his deepest conflict was not simply with another actor, but with the entire system of television production that valued ratings and comfort over truth and change, a struggle that defined much of his professional life. After leaving Bonanza, Pernell Roberts continued acting, but his life was marked by both professional successes and personal hardships that revealed the complicated man behind the confident public image. He appeared in many theater productions and television roles throughout the late 1960s and 1970s, slowly proving critics wrong who predicted his career would end after leaving such a successful show. His biggest comeback arrived when he starred in Trapper John, M.D., where he played Dr. John McIntyre, earning praise from critics and connecting with a new generation of viewers who knew little about his Bonanza past. Despite this success, Roberts never fully embraced celebrity life. He often avoided public appearances and rarely spoke nostalgically about his earlier fame, preferring instead to focus on causes he believed mattered. Roberts was outspoken about racial injustice and social inequality, long before many entertainers felt safe discussing such topics publicly. He participated in civil rights marches and criticized Hollywood for failing to provide opportunities to actors of color, as well as for allowing white actors to portray Native American roles in Western films and shows. These opinions sometimes made him unpopular within the entertainment industry. But Roberts never seemed concerned about protecting his image if it meant staying silent about issues he felt were wrong. His personal life, however, was filled with challenges. He married 4 times, and friends often said his intense focus on independence made close relationships difficult to maintain. The most painful moment of his later life came in 1989 when his only son, Jonathan, died in a motorcycle accident at the age of 38. Those close to Roberts said the loss deeply affected him, and although he continued working, he never fully recovered emotionally from losing his child. In his final years, Roberts lived quietly in California with his 4th wife, Eleanor Criswell, avoiding the spotlight that once surrounded him. When he passed away in 2010 at age 81 from pancreatic cancer, many news outlets remembered him as the thoughtful eldest Cartwright son, but others highlighted his courage in leaving a hit show rather than compromising his beliefs. Looking back, the conflicts Roberts experienced with fellow actors and producers reveal more than simple personality clashes. They show a man determined to live honestly, even when honesty cost him friendships and opportunities. The person he conflicted with the most may never be clearly agreed upon, as different accounts point to Landon, Green, or even producers themselves. But what remains certain is that Roberts constantly fought against anything he felt limited truth or artistic integrity. In an industry where many people chase fame at any cost, Roberts stands out as someone who walked away when success demanded too much compromise. Today, fans continue to debate whether he made the right choice, yet his story reminds audiences that behind popular television characters are real people dealing with complex struggles. Pernell Roberts may not have been the easiest person to work with, but his determination to stay true to himself created a legacy that still sparks discussion decades after Bonanza first aired, proving that sometimes the bravest decision in show business is not staying in the spotlight, but knowing when to step away and live life on one's own terms. Even years after Pernell Roberts left Bonanza, stories about the conflicts on the show continued to interest fans, and many people began looking back at his decision with a new understanding, especially as television storytelling slowly changed and began exploring deeper and more serious topics that Roberts had wanted to see decades earlier. Former crew members later explained that Roberts was often misunderstood because his frustration was not simply about ego or screen time, but about wanting television to grow beyond simple entertainment and reflect real human struggles. During the 1960s, many shows avoided difficult social topics because networks feared upsetting audiences. But Roberts believed television had the power to help people think differently about society. Some younger actors who worked with him later in his career said that Roberts often gave advice about choosing meaningful work rather than simply chasing money or fame, explaining that a successful career should also feel personally satisfying. Although conflicts with actors like Michael Landon and Lorne Greene became famous among fans, others who worked with Roberts remembered him as thoughtful, intelligent, and even shy when cameras were not rolling. They described him as someone who enjoyed quiet conversations about books, politics, and history, rather than typical Hollywood parties. Over time, fans also began to recognize how rare it was for an actor in his position to walk away from guaranteed success, especially when Bonanza continued for many years after his departure, and remained one of television's most beloved Western series. Some viewers even felt that the show changed after he left, losing some of the serious tone his character brought to the family stories. Meanwhile, Roberts continued to appear in guest roles, stage performances, and occasional television projects, often choosing roles that allowed him to explore more complicated characters instead of simple heroes. He also remained active in social causes, speaking out for fairness in the entertainment industry and encouraging better representation for minority communities. Friends recalled that even though he sometimes regretted losing close friendships because of past conflicts, he never regretted standing by his beliefs. In interviews given later in life, Roberts sometimes joked that leaving Bonanza probably confused audiences more than it hurt him, because many fans could not understand why anyone would walk away from fame. Yet he also admitted that the decision cost him emotionally, as he missed some relationships from the early days of the show before tensions grew. Still, Roberts believed that success without personal happiness was not worth keeping. As years passed, newer generations discovered Bonanza through reruns, and many viewers who first knew Roberts only as Adam Cartwright later learned about his strong personality and principles behind the scenes. Film historians often point to his career as an example of how television actors sometimes become trapped by popular roles, and how difficult it can be to break free once audiences expect them to stay the same forever. Roberts' story also shows how creative differences can grow into personal conflicts when people care deeply about their work, but see success in very different ways.